Hello, and welcome to 100 Years of Psychoanalysis in America. I'm Dr. Gail Saltz. In this video, we will take a look at the indelible impact that psychoanalytic thinking has had on American society. You will hear from members of the American Psychoanalytic Association, those with decades of experience, and others whose careers have just begun. You will hear throughout the phrase, "courage to dream." It is the tagline of our centennial and a motto that we strive to embrace both with our patients and in our profession. Dreams are the cornerstone of our theory and practice because they shed a window on others' wishes and ambitions. Courage is also a very important word in psychoanalysis, the courage to examine ourselves and others, which tells us something about the wishes, ambitions, and dreams that drive us all. We hope this gives you an idea of what psychoanalysis has been in America and where it's going in the next 100 years. So please, let's take a look. The birth of APSA and the New York Psychoanalytic Institute happened within a few months of each other in 1911, which was 2 years after the founder of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, made his one and only voyage to the United States. It was at Clark University where Freud delivered his 5 historic lectures to some of the world's leading scientists to explore the workings of the mind and new developments in the study of brain and genetics. Although the lectures were all read in his native German, Freud inspired the audience to believe in a deeper psychological approach and how thought, motivation, and emotion play a role in human behavior. However, psychoanalysis didn't take off immediately in the United States, and the founders of the New York Society and the American Society had different visions for the future.
These groups had a kind of, I guess you would say, uneasy existence for a while. And then the war intervened, and that really had an impact on activities around psychoanalysis in the United States. And it really wasn't until after the war in the early 1920s that psychoanalysis really, I think, becomes a much more organized endeavor, and that the people who are coming, the doctors who are coming to psychoanalysis, are more seriously interested in it.
It was the time after the Second World War that psychoanalysis really started to take hold in America.
Psychoanalytic theory, clinical theory, after the war, and even before the war, was in a state of sort of expansion, new ideas, new developments, the expansion of psychoanalytic theory, the development of structural theory, ego psychology, defense analysis, object relations theory. This is a moment in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when there's a lot of ferment, a lot of very important papers being written. So there's a real sense of excitement.
It was that excitement and self-awareness that inspired people like Leon Hoffman to pursue a career specifically in child analysis. Dr. Hoffman co-founded the Pacella Parent-Child Center at the New York Psychoanalytic Institute 20 years ago and still helps lead it today. The center uses Freud's traditional theories of the unconscious mind to help new mothers find their way.
The mother's relationship with her new baby in some way reawakens her own relationships with her own mother, and so you always have this whether it's her real biological mother or adoptive mother or some other aunt or some other important older person. There's a neat term in the literature called the good grandmother, that every baby needs a good grandmother. Because every mother needs to have a mother surrogate who is there to help her and support her.
What about analysts who started their career in the 21st century? With so many medical specialties to choose from and a healthcare system more cumbersome and complex than ever, what inspires someone to follow a career path that some critics have called outdated?
I did actually in high school end up choosing I went to class and someone left a psychology book in my history class. So I began to read that, and I couldn't believe that people do this for a living. And I wrote my first paper on Freud and took a particular interest in kind of Freudian thought at the time. I didn't know what psychoanalysis was when I was in high school, but it seemed to me to be, even at the time, so interesting and complicated and enriching and fascinating. So I kind of went on with that track.
I got my master's in a very CBT program, and I guess I wanted something richer or something deeper. I remember I was working with athletes in Boston, and one of the hockey players that I was working with couldn't focus on the ice because he was so scared and always looking at his coach to see what his coach thought. And he would tell me this in sessions, and I said, "What does this remind you of?" And he said, "Well, you know, I used to look up in the stands to see if my father was there." So I brought this to my supervisor, and I said, you know, this guy's got something going on with his coach and his dad, and what do you do with that? And my supervisor said, "We don't deal with that, just make him focus." And I thought that that was so limiting. It didn't really take into account the whole person.
The American Psychoanalytic Association offers a fellowship program for mental health professionals in the early stage of their career or graduate students who are curious about psychoanalytic ideas. The program pays for fellows to attend the association's 2 annual meetings to get a real sense of what it's like to be a member of the organization. Cecil Webster is a third-year student at Baylor College of Medicine.
The seminars and discussions and the people that I've been able to meet have been remarkable. It's really expanded my sort of thinking about what projects that I'm interested in, what I'd like to explore, like intellectually and academically, and really just opened up my creativity in terms of what I would like for my career and how I can best contribute to my field.
Psychoanalysts, however, have taken criticism in the past for being too conservative or resistant to change, which has given ammunition to the naysayers of Freud that analysts are aloof or even arrogant. What will it take to improve the reputation of psychoanalysis and remain a relevant option in mental health treatment?
I think we did a lot of PR damage in the old days, and now we're very open and talking in a number of different fora, including those in the program. And when I was program chair, I made an effort to try to bring openness to not only the organization, but to the media, to try to bring in outside people who could have a dialogue with us. So this has been a big effort over the last couple of decades. And now I think our challenge is to define who we are and how we are different than the current quick fix ideologies of the magic pill, and how we diagnose people differently than a brain scan does. You don't see the self on a brain scan. You have to get to know the person intimately. And fortunately, there will always be people who aren't interested in just quick symptom relief, but in searching for the truth about themselves. And that's how we have to package ourselves.
There's no other part of the mental health field that really establishes that ambition. The other parts of the field, and I'm not denigrating them, they tend to focus on symptom relief, restoring to previous level of functioning. But you can restore somebody with a depression, say, to a previous level of functioning, and they may still not be able to find work that means anything to them. They may still not be able to establish a relationship that is healthy and that lasts. So that's where we come in, and we won't, because nobody else really addresses that. I think if we keep our focus on that essential added value that we have, we will be an important part of mental health in the next century.
One characteristic of the profession that all can agree on is that it's much more than just a job.
One of the things about doing psychoanalytic work is that it becomes, for many of us, not just a way we make a living or earn a living, but it actually becomes part of our life. And friends that we do make at these events become the fabric of our life, and people with whom we continue to socialize and with whom we continue to work on committees or work on panels. Also, I think the comment about the Waldorf has become a very integral part of our lives, and the expression "by the clock" has a particular meaning for anybody in the American Psychoanalytic Association, because that's always what you say when you're going to meet somebody at the Waldorf to go out to dinner or go to one of the panels with them. Meet me at the clock. at such and such an hour.
This has been just a glimpse of what psychoanalysis and the association has meant to those who've chosen it as their career. To find out more about psychoanalysis, or to inquire about being a patient or an analyst, please visit us at our website, www.apsa.org. There you can find out so much more about APSA societies and training institutes near you. I'm Dr. Gail Saltz for the American Psychoanalytic Association.